Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today we're going to be doing stages 21 to 30 of the Eagle Moss release of Build the James Bond DB5. Now remember, I'm building this for someone. I haven't got this for myself. I don't even think it's available anymore, but there is a link in the video description where you can get hold of this should it come back again. The other thing is that the instructions are absolutely terrible in that, and if you don't believe me, check out the last two stages I've done. I put the playlist up here and you can follow along with me and you can see how bad they are. Now normally I'd look at the instructions on here, but I can't get them out the magazine. I think whoever had this magazine has glued in the plastic things here. I can't take them out. So without damaging it, I'm going to be working from what instructions I can here. But most of the time, I'm going to be going over to My James Bond DB5. I think that's this. Yep, myjamesbonddb5.com. MarvelPHX Todd over there has made a comprehensive way of building this together, which is invaluable because there's a lot of stages and a lot of packs where we don't do anything at all. The good thing is when we start in issue 21, we have got something to do. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, because the instructions are all over the place, I'm just going to put this together exactly like we did last time. Now, these little lugs that we've got on this section here, you've got a large one and a smaller one. The large one's going to go into that larger hole just there on the metal side. So I'll put this in, line this up, and there we go. That's clipped into place like that. And now we're going to put 4 C-type screws into that section there. Now I'm only going to say it once. I'm going into metal, so I've put these in a little bit of oil just to make my life a little bit easier. But in the instructions for this stage, all it says, which are completely wrong, is to clip this part to this part, which if you do that, you're not going to get much at all. The instructions are actually no resemblance of what we're actually doing, which is a little bit crazy. That's why I use the My JamesBondDB5.com website. It's makes a lot more sense than what I'm doing here at the moment. So there we go. That's that one in as well. And then all we do to finish this off is we're going to be taking the top section here. We're just going to be pushing that into place. Now again, one of these lugs is bigger, as you can see there. So we just line up the larger lug over the top, and that's going to go in just like that. Now we're going to make the tyre. So this is going to be pushed into this section here, but this is quite soft. I am going to soften it more by putting it in some hot water. So I've got that here. Let's just put that in there. You'll be amazed as a model builder how many tea towels I go through. I've just pinched this other one for Mrs. World of Wayne now. With this bit, it is a little bit loose on there, just so you know. But obviously when the tyre's on there, it's going to hold that in. It will hold itself in place, no problems. But obviously there's no screws holding this side in. But let me just show you the instructions on the screen for this stage, because it doesn't resemble at all what we're actually doing, which is crazy to me. But let's put this in. So I'm shaking the water off, and then we'll just push this in here like this. All the way around. Make sure the rim's inside. It's good on that side. Just got to do this side, and it's good on that side. Dry that out. And then I can show you exactly how that's looking. That looks just like that. We've done that before, so we know what we're doing there. And I think, don't quote me, I think that's all we're doing in this stage. Remember, we do have a washer. We've still got one of the brake calipers to put on, which I'm guessing we're going to do in the next stage. And we still have the Z screws as well. So in stage 22 here, get this open. As you can see, it looks like we've got a brake disc there, and we've got a spinner for the wheel. I'll get these open. So I'm guessing that in a second we're going to have the second wheel completed. So it's looking like the first wheel we completed. Let me bring that up, which looks like that. That's what we're trying to get to at the moment. So we'll take a Z screw, like you see here. open this washer. And put the washer into the screw like that. We're going to take the brake components here with the caliper on it and the disc, and that's just going to go in here like this, slotting it in so it's actually between the wheel and this part here. A little bit tricky to get in, but it will go in. As you can see, you heard it clip in there. Then through the other side here, we're going to be putting this screw with the washer so it goes all the way through. Poke that down, coming out the other side there. And then quite simply, we're going to be screwing that to the little square hole, or the square shaped there, onto the top, and screwing that completely down. Want to make sure this is nice and tight, which it is. So it's looking like that. There's the caliper. What we've got to do is just press the spinner onto the end, and just like the last wheel we done, we've now got 2 wheels completed, and that's all there is to do in that stage. It's getting exciting now. Pack 23, we've got the steering wheel and the steering shaft here. Now there is some screws in here. I'll put a B on here, but we do have some type P screws, which are the 5mm ones in here as well. Just so we know we've got those. So let's get this open. Have a look at this. Now obviously we've got the electrics already linked to this. So I'm getting this out very carefully. That's what that looks like. The shaft is metal. Actually the whole thing is metal, looking like that. Now if you have a look closely here on the shaft just behind the steering wheel, we do have some flat areas there. That's going to help us locate the actual surround that we're about to put on here. So with that in mind, I'm going to be placing that into that section just there into that shaft, like that. You want to make sure it's completely flush to the steering wheel, as you can see there. Then I'm trying to get out the indicator. There we go. That's just going to fit into the slot just there, which is going to be a living nightmare to try and hold in. See if I can push it down. Will that help? Not really. And we're going to be closing that off with the other side. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the other side off and then slot that one in there. Make sure you don't pinch the wires when we put this in. As a matter of fact, we do need to untangle this because I'm going to need to thread through this wire. So I'll just thread through that wire, and once again, let's put this all back together. So we're going to have this part of the surround on here, the top part of the surround, which now has got the wire threaded through it, will be going over the top, making sure we don't pinch that wire. So I want it to come out the base there. That looks excellent. Nothing's pinched there. Make sure it's all flush together like that. Now I'm going to put the indicator in, which means opening this up slightly to get that in. There we go, that's in. That moves as well. And that is together. That's gone together pretty good actually. Now we're going to be holding that with 2 type P screws. Now by the look of it, these 5mm screws we don't have, so I'm just going to go into my box of tricks and get my type P screw from my previous box. Now these are 5mm screws, so to get this into place, that's one. Let's do the one at the other side here as well. And that one's 2. Nice and tight together. Make sure the seams are good, and there we go, that's in place. That looks good. Now I just want to check that the steering wheel can still turn on that column without getting jammed, which it can, so that's good. Now, the only thing to think about on this is when you're actually using this steering wheel, obviously the wire's connected to this, so you're only going to be limited to the amount you can turn this without breaking that wire inside. So it's only really going to be able to do that, I'm guessing. But that's all there is to do in that stage. Now, stage 24, this is going to be interesting. We've got the dashboard. This is already pre-electrified up for us, which I think is quite good. We haven't got to worry about installing the switches. That's been done for us. Now, we do have some screws in here. There's two kinds of screws. We've got type L screws and type Y screws. The Y screws are the thicker ones. We've also got a right air vent switch, which looks like that. But you know what this build's like. We get to look at these lovely parts. This is what the dashboard's looking like. But we don't get to do anything with it. So we're going to put that to one side and swiftly move on to the next stage. Well, it looks like we're going to be doing a lot of work on the dashboard now. So let's get all of this out. Now the dashboard mount we're not using apparently, so we can keep that to one side. And we do have some screws in here. These are type U. Normally, when we get some screws, just having a look at that, I'm going to write the letter on them so I know. So, first thing we need, we're going to be creating the left vent switch. Now, there is a vent switch in this one as well. I'm guessing that's the right-hand one. The left vent switch is the one that came in the last stage. So, let's get that out. Quite simply, all we're going to do is turn this. Let's actually open the rest of these because I'm going to need these open. That one. And we're going to need some type U screws. Let's just get one of them out. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to be taking that switch and then putting it upside down here. So it's like a little top hat upside down. Just drop that into place there. So it looks just like that. We're going to be closing that off with the cover here, which I'm trying to pick up. That's just going to go over the top like this and pushing that home. So that's into place there, and you should be able to slide this up and down, which works perfectly. We then need the dashboard, which we worked on in the last, well, we didn't work on, we just looked at in the last stage. And quite simply, this is just going to go into this hole that we can just see on this section here. So it's going to fit in just like that. It's going to be held in on the top side here with one of the U screws, which I just got out. This is such a challenge build when you just don't know if you're going to be doing anything with the parts. Crazy stuff. So we've got this mount, which we're not doing anything with. And we've done that and put the switch into place there. But that's all there is to do in that stage. So part 26, let's get this open. Again, I'm going to look at the screws that we get in here. Now in this pack here, we've got type Q screws and type Y screws. Again, just going to write that on the bag so I know what they are. And just like last time, as you can see, we've got some parts for the dashboard there as well. But just like last time, we're going to create the right air vent switch. So I'll get the housing out. I'll get the switch out, and I'll also get the cover out so we can actually put this together. And just like last time, we're going to drop the switch into here, making sure it goes all the way through like that. Close that off with this back piece here over the top, push that down. So that switch can't go anywhere, and as you can see, that now operates. And this is going to be going on the dashboard mount, which we hadn't even opened yet. So let's get this open now. This is actually going to fit over those lugs there. So just push this in like that. And that's held in once again with one of the flanged U screws. So that should look like that. We can put that to one side, because we've got this little tiny detail here, which is the cigarette lighter. You don't really see them anymore in cars, do you? There we go. Bring over the dashboard, and this is just going to go into the semicircular hole just to the left of that dial. So make sure we've got it the right way around, and quite simply it's just a push in like that. Now we're going to be retrieving the dashboard dials. Now on this dial here, we've got the dashboard, and behind it, as you can see, we do have sort of like a clear backing there. It's going to give the effect of windows in there. we need to take the big light switch, looking like that. Lots of fiddly details. And that's just going to go into the very hole that you can see there's a corner which the plastic isn't covering. So we can just push that in like that. It's obviously going to be loose at the moment until it's secured in. We've also got 3 dials to put in. And as you can see, those dials are in this pack here. And they're just going to be pushed in from the front side onto all of the holes. Now all the dials, all of these sections here are the same size. So I've got one in there. One at the bottom, and then one just above it here. There we go. So that now looks like that. And then I've just got to basically keep it down nice and gently, because obviously that light switch is still going to want to fall out, because that is the end of that stage. Now in pack 27, as you can see, we've actually got the instrument panel here. And it looks like we've got the glove box door as well. So first thing I'm going to need is the glove box door, looking just like this. Bring over the dashboard. It's not hard to see where this goes. You can see the shape of that in there. So I'm going to put this into place just like that. It's going to be held in from the other side here with the type U screws. If you remember, they're the flange screws. And one in the other side. There you go, that's the glove box in. We've got the ignition switch. This is the ignition switch here. So get this out gently without cutting that wire. And that's going to fit into the larger hole that we can see just behind next to this ledge here. So when I put it in, we want to make sure that the wire here is pointing down. So it's going to go in here like this. You do have a flat edge here, which is going to rest against that hard edge there. And push that in. There we go. It should hold itself in. Again, that's what that looks like from the front. And then this is great. Look, we've got 2 ignition keys. I've never seen this on a model before, I have to say. Let's just take the one out. I'm going to keep one in the bag for now. Wow, it's metal. Check that out. We're going to want to put the key in the ignition barrel here. So push that in. So it looks like that. That's great. Now we've got this tiny part here, which is the bonnet release handle. Let's get that open. Bring over this part here, which we put the right vent on. And this is just going to go into the hole there. It's a semicircular shape. So it can only go in one way. Push that in, make sure it's straight. Now this is where things get a little bit fun. I can take the instrument panel here with all the dials. And this is going to go behind this section here. And this is what's going to keep the light in as well. So I'll put the light back in there. So as you can see, this now goes over the top like that. The light is still able to go on because that's going to operate a switch there, but when it's against the dashboard it's not going to have a problem. So as you can see, that looks like that. Now when we push that light switch, it's going to push the stopper on the back there, and if I show you the instrument panel, it's going to activate that switch there, which is going to turn on the lights. So what we need to do is just put this instrument panel over the top like that and secure it from the other side here with 2 Q screws. See, even I get confused. The Q screws are the flanged ones. So that's one. And I'll just put the other one in the other side here. Excellent. And that is what that's looking like. And as you can see, the light now should operate that switch. So if it doesn't, we just need to have a quick check of that switch, because mine's not. There we go. Just loosen it up a bit so you can hear that click. If it's too tight, it's going to automatically just make itself completely down. You want to be able to hear that click. We're then going to be taking the steering wheel that we had previously. We're going to be installing this into the vehicle as well. So this is going to be going in this way, over the top, slotted in the gap here, Going to be a bit tricky, this one. You can push that down then, like that. It's going to hold itself in anyway, but as you can see, we do have 2 screw holes in there, and they are type B screws. We got those in pack 23. Now, if you remember me, I labelled them up, so I know what ones they are. And I will secure this in. So one in this side. Excellent. And one in the other side here. That one's perfect as well. So now that is what it's looking like from the front. We can operate the steering wheel, no problems at all. Now we're going to be taking this mount here, and the most important thing on this is this little chunk that we've got out the middle here. That's going to go round the steering shaft. This is going to be going underneath this section. Just like that. It's closing everything off here, making sure that's all lined up, nothing's bitten. That looks good. And it's going to be held in with a type L screw. Now the screw hole is just actually in that section there. It's one screw. It's pretty hard to see. Now the type L screw, if you remember this pack where I said you've got thicker screws, the type L is the thinner one. This came, I believe, in pack 24. So I've got that here. I'm just going to line that up and get this in. And secure that in nice and tight. There we go. And that's in place. And that now looks just like that. Quite a lot to do in that stage, which is great for this build because we haven't had much to do at all. But that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in pack 28 we've got the speaker grille and cover here. Let's get that out. And these screws here, get me pen, are type O screws. New type of screw, that one. I do love these instructions by MarvelPHX. He's really making my life easier with this. And again, the link to his website's in the video description. So I'll get all of this out. So what we're going to do, take the speaker, being very gentle with these wires here, turn over the speaker case, which looks like that. And this is going to be going in this way. So the wires are coming in the opposite direction of those 2 little holes there. The wires are coming out this side. We're going to be closing that off with the back of the case here without pinching these wires. So I need to sort of like get them together like that. So when I put the top over, I'll put this in gently, they're going to come out of that little hole just at the back there. When I'm happy with that in place, which I am, we're going to secure that down with some of these O screws. We need 4 of these, and that's the speaker encased in its mount, and that's all there is to do in that stage. Stage 29, this is quite a big pack by the look of it. I don't know how much we're actually going to be doing in this pack. Let's get everything out. So we've got a gear stick in here, we've got monitor housing, we've got some more electrics. Yeah, there's quite a lot in here. So first of all, I need the radio, which is this silver piece here. We're going to be mounting that to this console here. So I'll get this out. And it follows the direction of the lugs here. So you can only put it in one way. So it's going to go in like that. It's going to be held in with an O screw. We know what they are. They came in the last pack with the speakers. So I've got one here. And we'll secure that into place. There we go. That's the radio in place. We've got a screen to put in. You get this screen out. I'm just going to hide all sorts of lovely things behind it. That's the screen there. And it should be in just like that. Oops. Let's try to open itself. So from this side, it looks like that. We can then open and shut that. That's great. I like that. I can just put that to one side just for a second while I open this electrics up. And we've got a map on here. Sort of like a locating beacon device. Which looks like that. It's going to untangle This one, I don't think I need to untangle this wire for the minute, actually. I'll do that afterwards. Because this is going to go onto the back of that screen there. So I'm just locating this the correct way round. It's going to go this way round with the larger end towards the bottom. And we're just going to put this over that screen just like that. Now that's going to be held in with, once again, these O screws. I do like the fact that we're using the screws from a pack which we had only just been on. I think that's very clever. Whoops. Put it back in. It's getting a little bit more manageable rather than, you know, getting apart, not doing anything. Bit crazy. But there you go. So that's the screen. And when we lift it up, we've got the map. Down, up. Great. Now we do have 2 screws in this pack which aren't used. These are J screws. So again, I'm just going to write what they are on there. And we do have the gear stick. Now the top of the gear stick opens up. Yeah, I will open it. But we're not doing anything with it in this stage. So that looks like that. And as you see, it opens up to have the little ejector seat, I guess that is. Fires missiles, I don't know, whatever it's connected to at the time. But that's all there is to do in that stage. And stage 30, we have got the pedals, and it's one of these things that we're going to have to end on something which we don't do anything with. It's just actually providing the pedals for us. So that is the next 10 stages. So we've got the pedals, we've done the speaker, we've done another wheel, we've done the little center console with the map, and probably one of the best things we've done in all of this build so far is we've created the full dashboard with the steering column, and that's ready to go in the vehicle. And not forgetting the little tiny ignition key as well. This is a spare, so I'll keep that in the car somewhere. That was quite enjoyable. There was a lot more to do this time, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad I didn't follow the instructions in the magazine. The MarvelPHX, Todd's website, I'm telling you, it's absolutely brilliant. It's very comprehensive, and even I can follow it. So if you are building this model, my advice is file away your books, keep them safe for all the articles and stuff, but go over to myjamesbonddb5.com and just follow the instructions there. You won't have a problem. Anyway, I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.